Hear about that chameleon that couldn't change colour? He suffered with erectile dysfunction. I nearly fucked that up. Hello everybody, welcome to the video. How are you? Hopefully you're well. I'm going to do a really quick video, and I wanted to do a little bit of a series of videos, if that's okay with you guys. Hopefully this works, boobies. And the in the first 10 seconds, anyone who's joined this video has gone, fucking boobies, bye then, and left. But that's fine, because then it's just left with us. Ooh, don't tell the maid. She'll never let us back in again. Oh, let's do it on the laundry. Years ago when I was a kid, for some reason, I don't know why I did it. My mum had put loads of fresh laundry in the back room in her house, and I just flopped my junk on it and did a piss. I don't quite know why. So anyway, welcome to this video. So I wanted to do a reminisce of consoles, and I wanted to do it as though we're talking about things we remembered from that console. And I think this is going to be a little bit exciting, or it's going to be shit. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Calm down. And I wanted to talk about, fucking hell, that's heavy, this bad boy. Do you know this? The Xbox 360. There it is. If you don't know that one, I've got this one as well. There's the classic version. There it is. Xbox 360. Lovely. Why is that flipping around? So yeah, I wanted to talk about it. And I want to talk about my kind of history with the Xbox. I just scratched my own eye. That really hurt. Fucking hell. Yeah, I wanted to talk about my sort of memories of that particular console and what I remember, and hopefully you'll reminisce again and you plug it in the and we go French for this video. Why not? Who gives a fuck? Not really, but you may put it in the comments that things you remember from the console. Is it still on? It's still on. Can't see it. It's literally, it's like a tiny little willy right by my mouth every time I talk. It's distracting me, and it's black as well, so it's not normal. It's not the status quo to have a big black one. Some are small. That derailed that straight away. Anyway, yeah, so I've got some games here. I just wanted to kind of go over some things that I remember. And I bought my console. I don't remember if you remember how. Well, I was quite late to the party when I got my Xbox 360. It'd probably been out a couple of years, but I just couldn't quite let go of my my PlayStation 2. I still quite loved it. It was still good. You know, there's a lot of really good games on the PlayStation 2, and we'll do a special video for that one as well. But I eventually got my Xbox 360, and here we go. This is how classy I was. I got mine from a place called Cash Generators in England, which is essentially a pawnbroker's. And I bought it for the princely sum of, I think it was something like £110 or something, which is quite expensive back then. With 2 controllers, and then I picked up a couple of games they had in that store as well. And the first game I had for my console was Fear. I don't know if you've ever played Fear, but I remember when I first put the console on, and you have to sign in. Remember when you had to sign into Xbox? Oh my God. That was when we realised we were in trouble, because you didn't do it with the original. Then all of a sudden you were signing in, and it was like when you had to play with like more than 2 people, it was like swap the controllers. You were like, hang on, who's Salty Biscuit Tit? That's you. That's your controller. Oh, I'm Wankathon 7. That's me. And who's this? Chair Leg 3. That's you. And it was just kind of swapping controllers around to try and get the game working. But yeah, this was my first game that I bought, and I remember. You start off in an alleyway in the game, and I remember just looking around the alleyway and being absolutely blown away by how pretty everything looked. I remember my wife was lay on the sofa while I was playing it, and she just went, "So is this the game?" And I went, "No, there's more game than this, I think." But I couldn't get over how pretty this console looked compared to the PlayStation 2, which, you know, didn't have that rendering. This had so much detail in the models, and it was so pretty. And this was a really good game to start with. I had this, and I had Halo 3. And again, Do you remember that startup screen when it came on and that music, that kind of monk kind of singing? Oh, it was so good. Um, and it was just amazing. And then that really soft. I remember the adverts for this game. Do you remember the advert for this game? And it was like a huge diorama of a battle. Do you remember that? And it was this huge, massive battle going on between the humans and the Covenant, and there was just chaos everywhere. There's bodies, there was humans being picked up, there was monsters blowing up. It was awful. And then it kind of panned up to a mountain where there was this one Covenant holding the Master Chief by his neck, and then he literally has a sticky bomb in his hand, and he turns to the camera, and that was the video, that was the advert, and it was fucking sick. That video was so cool. It was so cool, and that was when I realized Master Chief was badass. And he is. This is such a good game, isn't it? I remember playing this from start to finish. That level where the scarab, that massive crawling scarab crab thing comes over the side and you have to blow it up. So badass. Such a cool game. So yeah, this was one of the first games I had for my console. And I had it along with, of course, Gears of War. This is the special edition version. I didn't have the special edition version back then. I just had a regular old version. Um, Again, these were games for guys. You know, we PlayStation 2 had adult themed games, but this felt like this was some serious shit, guys. This was a serious console, serious gamers. I don't know if you guys felt the same, but it was really cool. Um, and I love this game from start to finish. I thought Marcus Phoenix, how everybody fancied Marcus Phoenix, even the men, they were like, I want to be like Marcus Phoenix. I'm going to wear a bandana. And then we realized we looked like a total tit with the bandana on. And only people like Marcus Phoenix and Dog the Bounty Hunter could get away with it. We just looked like dickheads walking around Tesco with a fucking bandana on, going, "Ooh!" Like we were trying to like pass a stone, like a kidney stone or something. But yeah, Gears of War, really, really good game, and I remember starting it and how pretty it looked. Um, that and Assassin's Creed, that and that was incredible. That was still on. That was next level, wasn't it? Come on, guys, that was amazing to look at. It was expansive. The video, when you were like riding your horse from town to town, it was a little bit long-winded, and I'm not sure if that was just the game trying to load up the next town, but this was next. This was just wow. I remember looking at it thinking, this can't get any better than this. This genuinely can't get any better than this. And I loved how good was the matchmaking on this game online. Xbox Live. Come on, guys, give me some comments on Xbox Live. When I first had Xbox Live, you'd kind of scramble in the box and you kind of look behind things and you'd go, "Oh God, I really need a 48-hour code so that I can play online." And you'd sort of scramble around. You go 48 hours, and you put the code in, and you could play online for 48 hours because it was like a tenner otherwise for like a month. Um, but God, this was good online. It was fast. It was insanely quick. The sticky bombs and all that, it was amazing. Such a good game. Matchmaking wise was good fun. But Xbox Live just changed everything for me. It was like next level. I think I used to come home from work. I'd work like a 50-hour week. I'd come home from work and my friends at work would be waiting for me on the Xbox Live to play Modern Warfare, Battlefield 2, whatever. And we just play all night, and it was amazing. I remember playing with my daughter on my legs, just kind of jiggling us to like rock her to sleep while I was playing. So she was brought up with the dad playing games, and yeah, it was cool. It was a really really cool time to play games. Um, and then obviously the next kind of game I had was this one, BioShock. Do you remember this coming out? Um, Again, Rapture, the world of Rapture, and the violins and the 1930s decor and the guns, the Tommy guns, and the horror element to this. I remember the splicers being possibly the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen in a game. Um, it was brilliant. It was amazing. This game just next level. I need to play this again. Why have I not played this again? But yeah, Bioshock. What a game. Um, and then obviously the granddaddy came out for me. Modern Warfare 2. Now a lot of you disagreed, but this was my game. I prestiged on this about 2 times, I think, which I think wasn't it like level 75? You had to get to level 75. And the best thing about this game, and youngsters won't get this, there was no pay to play. You couldn't buy your way to winning. You couldn't do it. You had to grind this game. You had to get into games and fucking get some kills, man. You had to get assists. You had to get kills. You had to capture the flag. You had to what was the one? Search and destroy. You had to stop the bomb from blowing up. You had to get stuck in and you had to earn your stripes, motherfucker. If you wanted to be the best, you had to fucking earn it, man. But this was such a game. And Hans Zimmer did the music for the game, and the level with the fucking White House and the bomb den, and there was it was good. And fighting through the burger shops, and just so good. And the ice levels, and just the heartbeat sensor, and literally, I'm about to come. There's no stopping. It's a flood gonna happen. But this was my game. I love this game. And then me and my friend discovered Battlefield 2, which was so cool. Destructible zones. I loved the one where you had to take the zones by forcing your way past the enemy, and the enemy was trying to stop you at all points. It was so cool. It was such a cool game. I love this. Yeah, wow. Oh, I'm getting choked up thinking about this console. How great was this? How great was the Xbox 360? Well, the more I think about it, the more I fell in love with it. Um, I always think of myself as the PlayStation 1 being the first console I ever really fell in love with. The PlayStation 2 was super important because it carried me through a long period of time and there was some amazing games released. But I actually think the Xbox 360, we felt like we were part of something really big. Is that sound weird to you guys? I felt like it was like this is the biggest thing in the world and there's nothing close to it. And I know there was the PlayStation 3, but we were we were the rock stars with the Xbox 360. There was all the safe kids with their PlayStation 3s playing God of War and whatever. We were fucking rocking Xbox 360, and they had the best games: Gears of War, Halo, Left 4 Dead, Dead Rising, you name it, man. Viva Pinata. I just flicked the mic, by the way. Sorry, guys. Boobies. It's still on. Do you remember this coming out? Table Tennis by Rockstar, and we were all like, "What? There's no prostitutes in this?" And it was a really decent little table tennis game, but it was weird that it was released for it. Um, what else came out? We had obviously Xbox Live Arcade, and these were games you could buy on the marketplace. But obviously, this was a disc that came with the arcade version of the console as well, so you could play all these Feeding Frenzy and what was the other ones there was? Let's have a look. Luxor 2, Boom Boom Rocket, Uno, fucking Uno, Feeding Frenzy, and Pac-Man Championships was on that one. But that came with a lot. If you had the arcade, because wasn't there an arcade, the Pro, and there was another one, and I can't remember what it was called, but it depended which one you played, basically. Which one you bought had a different hard drive. And then you could obviously buy the external hard drives, and that would come like that. There it is. And you just plug it into the top of the console. And the Red Ring of Death, that was horrible. I only ever got that once. My wife did it. She literally, I came home from work one night and she said, "Phil, I've got a horrible news." And she made me sit down. And I swear to God, she made me sit down. And I was like, what happened? And she went, "I'm so sorry, but the Xbox is gone." And I went, "What? What do you mean the Xbox? It's there." She went, no, it's gone. It's Red Ring of Death. She'd killed it playing Fallout. She'd actually killed it playing Fallout 3. She'd fucked it. And I immediately went out and bought one that evening from another fucking shop. I think it cost me like 80 or 90 pounds. I just bought one because I needed it in my life. I don't think I even had the money for it, but I couldn't be without my Xbox. It was important. And that one survived. I sold that. Uh, they got to a point where I really had no money. I had to sell the console for stuff, and I took it to a pawnbroker's. I think I took it to cash converters or cash generators, and I said, I just want some money for this. I think they gave me like £30 for this thing, and he checked the memory card slot, which is like that bit there, this, and inside was a mini cheddar, which my daughter had deposited in there. This is fucking. He went, and I went, for you. Give me more money. It's a little bribe. But talking of Fallout, obviously the Fallout games. We had Fallout 3. We had Point Lookout and the Pit. No, Broken Steel and Point Lookout. Broken Steel was the one that made you go from level 20 was the highest you could get to a level 30, which was the highest you could reach. And then there was Operation Anchorage and the Pit. Operation Anchorage was the one where it was the simulator of the Chinese war in Anchorage, and you could win the ninja suit and that insane fucking Gauss rifle thing that just destroyed everything, and the Pit, which was annoying. It was a bit like a Mad Max sim. And then obviously Fallout Vegas, which everybody's starting to love again. Good old Fallout New Vegas. What a great game. Scared the shit out of me when I saw a not a rad roach, what is it? Rad scorpion. And it was fucking massive. It was a giant rad scorpion. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I bought the console. But I didn't get it straight away. It took me a while to get it. Dead Rising. I love Dead Rising. Until I played it and realised you have to follow the fucking story and be in certain places at certain times, or you fucking fail the game. And it just turns around and goes, "You failed. Sorry, fuck off," which was wonderful. It was a wonderful feeling. But God, I remember that. What a great game. What else did we have? Do you remember this? Of course you do. Skyrim. Do you remember when this came out? Because there was Elder Scrolls, obviously, which was fine. Bit janky, bit old-fashioned now, but it was a good game. And then they did Skyrim, and Skyrim was badass. Come on, guys. Skyrim is fucking amazing. And I actually prefer this version to the Xbox One version. I don't know if you feel the same, but I actually really like this version. I thought it was really good. What the hell's going on here? What's this? Fuck off. So everyone is always messaging me when I'm doing videos. Leave me alone for 2 minutes. And then there was Left 4 Dead. Remember Left 4 Dead when that came out? It blew everybody's fucking mind. I don't know if you ever played this, but if you played it at the very, very, very beginning without the patch, there was lots of different shortcuts and cheats you could do to fuck the other team up if you were playing zombies versus humans. So there was like a bit with the hospital where once they were in the elevator, if you were a zombie, you could go up and you could hit the generator up against the door, and they just couldn't get out the lift, and you could just fuck them up, and that was the end of the game. They just rage quit because they couldn't win the game. You just kill them. And there was like one where instead of setting the scissor lift off outside, you could smash through a corrugated. Oh, you fucking fuck the hats, and then I make love to you behind a tree. Not really. I'm looking a bit windswept today, aren't I? It's because I'm warm. It's warm. It's warm but horrible. It's welcome to England. It's fucking shit here. It's either rainy or warm or cold or shit. Those are the 4 weather patterns we have. It always tells us on the news. It goes, "There's a shit storm coming through from the Scotlands, leading down into the Northamptons, and then down to the Londons, and a shitstorm. And then coming up the north, we've got a shitty weather with walking forecast." We literally have weather, right, that's actually called a depression. That's what our weather comes in, right? It comes in. If you've ever looked at weather maps, this is true now. Have you ever seen it kind of like, it looks like that? It looks like 2 lines like that. One's circles and one's triangles. I swear to God, look it up. It's called a depression. That's how depressing we are as a country to live in. Our weather's called a depression. Left 4 Dead is a great game, and I remember playing this one. I was absolutely obsessed with this as well. Love the zombies version, and it was great working with 4 strangers. Lovely stuff. Viva Pinata was another one that was exclusive to the console. I did mention it, so I thought I'd bring it into the video. Again, a really fun little game to play. My daughter liked it. My wife liked it. Look after a little garden. But yeah, my Xbox, I loved my Xbox 360. Do you remember you could get the memory cards for it? They look like a PlayStation 1 memory card, but they could store fuck all, like nothing on that thing. Um, but there was amazing games. There was like Far Cry 2. Far Cry 2 never gets any love. That game was badass, man. Remember the malaria pills? And if you didn't take the malaria pills, you died in agony. And it was like you had to keep taking malaria pills to stop yourself from dying. It was fucking vile. And you actually healed yourself in the way that you picked a bullet out of your arm or recast your fingers. It was horrible stuff. What a great game. I'm loving this. I'm really remembering all the games I played. I mean, I am a gamer more than a collector, so I game all my collection. I've played every game. There's a handful that I haven't played, and I'm getting round to it because I work more hours now. But I am a gamer rather than a collector. I do collect in the sense that I pick up a game to buy and play, and then I collect it at the end. Remember when this first came on our scene? PlayStation had, what was it called? Demon Souls? We had Dark Souls. Yeah, fuck you, PlayStation. This was brilliant, but obviously not as good as the later ones. It perfected its art, but this was fine. It was fine. The story was depressing, which is brilliant. The characters were massively underpowered, which was brilliant. And the bosses were terrifying, which was brilliant. I remember this coming out and everyone had genuinely feared this game. This was like, this was like the fucking Necronomicon. You did not touch this game because monsters were inside. It was like, don't you fucking go near that game. You're not good enough. You had to be like, you had to have like the appetite of a sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you had to have hands made of titanium to even attempt this game. But it was fucking brilliant, and very, very tough. Was it number 2 where you went in the house and there was the old woman, and if you hit her, she just fucked you up in one go, and then the achievement was welcome to Dark Souls? You remember they killed you in one go? Some old crone. It's like, I've been humbled by an old woman in a tree. So I've got a little bit more to reminisce, and then I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I've got work tonight. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed talking about the Xbox 360. Dead Space, 2008, October, Halloween, out it came. Scared the living shit out of all of us, and then fucked off again until the second one came out. Brilliant. Absolutely top-notch game. Terrifying, scary as all hell, fun. Like I said this before, I had to do a level and then stop, and then do a level and then stop. I couldn't do a full playthrough. It was too much. It was just too much. I was sweating. I was terrified. Brilliant. Even now, I still have never played through this game again. It's terrifying, but I will one day. But I remember it being one of my favoritist games, irregardless of the fact I never played it again, just because of how beautiful and brilliant this was. This, like I said, it was like if PlayStation 3 was a supermodel, the Xbox 360 was a dirty, dirty slag. It was just full of rock star and punk, and it felt like it reminded me of when it was the Nintendo and the Sega. Sega was always the naughty one. Sega was always the bad one. Sega was the kind of, we were the rebels. We were the ones who were slightly away from the Nintendo fluffy, squelchy little buggy things that were going on in those games. We were Sonic the Hedgehog. He was a badass, super fast hedgehog that ran 1,000,000 miles an hour. And we were like all these fantastic games and characters that you just didn't get on there. The music was slightly grungier, the sound was better, the graphics were harsher. It was just a different console. And that was what the Xbox 360 was to me. It was a grungy, sexy beast of a console that spat out visceral, horrible, unforgiving, nasty bastard games that just made you go, yeah, this is good. The last one, which was one of the most important ones for me, was Dead Island. I was so psyched for this. I remember I was working at a supermarket, and I even remember where I was in the store. And I used to have my phone, and there was a video for Dead Island, and I put it on, and it was the girl, and she went backwards back into the room, and it played out backwards of how she was bit and became a zombie. That really sad music. And I remember watching it thinking, wow, that's the most important um, zombie thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything as good as that. I cannot wait for this game to come out. And a lot of people were disappointed by Dead Island, but I actually really quite liked it. I think it could have been better, but it is one of my favorites, and I still go back to it today. But yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of a reminisce of the Xbox 360's history and my history with it. And I'm sure you have your own stories, games you played, things you did with your friends on there. There was the chat, the live chat, where you could talk across the microphones. When was that ever done? When did we ever do that? Um, what a great little console. God, the more I think about it, the more I miss it. You know, you kind of realize that it's so long ago when that console came out. Um, but it was such a great system, yeah, and it felt like we kind of, we were part of something important. That was when gaming kind of went from here to sort of up here. I mean, the graphics were beautiful, the gameplay was fast, the characters were fleshed out, the stories were movie-like. Yeah. What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. Kids today will never realize just how close they were to being a part of some of the best generation of gaming, I think. Tell me if you disagree. Maybe you think it was a different era. It was definitely a more experimental era. That, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, they were really kind of tuning up before they really got their hands dirty with the games, and we had few bad misses. But yeah, there you go. That's my little reminisce of the Xbox 360. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed that. Talking about it. It's a fond memory of mine. Like I say, I'm sure you've got your own. Guys, thank you very much. I'm going to be doing a podcast on Wednesday night this week coming. I'm not sure if it's going to be live or not yet. I haven't decided. But let me know if you want it to be live, then brilliant. If you haven't subscribed, click the button, subscribe if you want to. If you want to see more of this face. If you don't, fuck off then. Nice knowing you. Go and fucking find, I don't know, PewDiePie. I'm sure he's just sitting there wanking over his cash. Not that I'm bitter. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me on this video, and I hope to see you in the next video, which I will do soon. Thank you very much, guys. See you later. Goodbye.